This is K9WLW with yet another video, again with the Openspot 3. I wanted to go a little deeper into some configuration on the Openspot 3 that might help many of you amateur operators in transitioning through multiple modes. That you can do a lot through the menu, but that also involves a lot of screen tapping or mouse clicking in order to change modes, change radios, that kind of thing. And I thought I would also share with you a method of setting up the profiles to your advantage, and also maybe an advantageous thing you can do to add your mobile Wi-Fi as one of the Wi-Fis on your Openspot 3. It'll hold up to 5 independent Wi-Fi sources in memory, and the way it works is when you power the Openspot on or reboot it, by default it tries to connect to the first Wi-Fi. If after a few seconds it finds nothing there, it will move on to number 2 and attempt to connect there, and so forth. So it makes it very, very convenient to use when you go mobile. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the network page, which is where the Wi-Fis are set up. And you scroll down until you find, on the page, just wireless settings. Now, earlier today I set up the Openspot from scratch, and I only have one wireless setting, and that was the wireless setting that I configured it on, which is my home Wi-Fi. You'll notice it has number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 available. I only need 2, one for home and one for the car. Now, one thing I have noticed with Openspot 2 as well as Openspot 3 before is with my home Wi-Fi configured as the primary and first Wi-Fi, if I plug it in or power it on when I get into my car is still within range of my home Wi-Fi. So what ends up happening is I power it on in the car and it connects to the home Wi-Fi, and then I drive away, and within a few feet or so, or a few seconds of driving away, I obviously leave the range of my home Wi-Fi, and then the Openspot is kind of left hanging, and then it realizes that that Wi-Fi is no longer there, and it tells me Wi-Fi is disconnected, and then it kind of goes through some hiccuping for about 30-45 seconds, and then it eventually figures out to connect to the cell Wi-Fi, which I've already had up and running. Well, with that in mind, I said, hey, let me try an alternate plan, and this actually works quite well. The first thing I'm going to do is I have to replicate my home Wi-Fi into the SSID number 2 with the SSID and the key code, and then save it. So I'm going to have the home in both 1 and 2. Now, with that being said, I can then go into number 1 and change that to my mobile Wi-Fi code. And with that, it'd be the primary. And the reason I'm going to do that is when I plug it in the car, even though I'm in range of the home Wi-Fi, it's going to default to the mobile Wi-Fi first and lock in. And I won't have that little hiccup when I drive away. I'll be good to go. As soon as I power it up in about 10 seconds, I'm connected. And it remains connected. And it doesn't even bother looking for the home Wi-Fi. When I come in the house, the mobile Wi-Fi is already turned off. I power it on when I plug it in the house. There is no mobile Wi-Fi, and it only takes it about 10 or 15 seconds to boot up and connect to the home Wi-Fi and remain connected to that, even though it's in the second slot. So I'm going to go through the process of doing that. First part of this is I'm going to replicate my home Wi-Fi into the second slot first. So I'm going to add that in. Be very careful not to make any mistakes because this is something that involves precision. Okay, so I do have it. I'm going to pause right here while I enter in the pass key, so bear with me and I'll be right back. Okay, I have it keyed, ready to key in or to save it. So I slide down to the bottom of the page or the bottom of the section and I hit the save button. It says Openspot may disconnect from the currently associated Wi-Fi. Please verify that they're correct. Are you sure you want to save the wireless settings? Yes, I'll hit save.
Openspot connected to Brandmeister 3102.
Okay, so Openspot has reconnected. Let's go to the network page once again and take a look and see what we've got going on there. It should be ready for the next phase. Okay, so I have the home Wi-Fi both in 1 and 2 now. Now I'm going to modify 1 and replace 1 with my mobile Wi-Fi. So bear with me a minute while I get that ready. I will pause the video and rejoin you in a moment. Okay, I have now added it, and now I go down to the page and save with the new mobile Wi-Fi in slot 1. So I hit save. It's going to disconnect briefly. Now it's going to hiccup a little bit because the primary slot is the mobile Wi-Fi, which I have off right now. So it's
Connected to Brandmeister 3102.
okay, it already reconnected. Let's take a look and see how we're doing on that front. Go back to the network page. I'll scroll down to the Wi-Fi settings, and there it is. There it is. I'm connected to number 2 now. It only took a few seconds, actually. It was quicker than I thought. Because I have no mobile Wi-Fi running right now, because I'm in home, it ran right over to number 2 and connected very quickly in maybe 10-15 seconds, it seems. Yeah. So that was pretty good. So anytime I power on the hotspot at home, it only takes 10 or 15 seconds to connect to the home Wi-Fi and I'm good to go. When I go out to the car, I activate the mobile Wi-Fi, power off the Openspot, power it back on, and it will connect to the mobile Wi-Fi first without getting tripped up on the home Wi-Fi. So I can pull away and be good to go from the moment I start the car and before I even drive away. So that was successful. So that might be a helpful tip if you have a problem like that, because I've heard other people mention this, where they drive away and it hiccups for a while, because when you lose a Wi-Fi that it's locked on, it's a little bit more cumbersome for it to figure out what to do. It takes a little bit more time, and you get to hear the Openspot reiterate that it's Wi-Fi disconnected. Okay, now I'm going to go to the settings page and I'm going to show you something else regarding the profiles. Okay, I'm a big fan of using profiles because it's a quick way to go to different modes or set it up for different radios. Now, again, when you first set it up, they're all named default. And it defaults to profile 1 when you first configure it. Well, the first thing I want to do is profiles 2, 3, 4, and 5 do not have any data in them. They don't have your frequency. They don't have your call sign. They don't have your DMR ID, NXDN ID. They don't have your Wi-Fi information. So I'm looking for something here. Okay. On the settings page, start at the top and you scroll down to an area below the profile names where you have a section that says copy. We're going to use 1 as the source. Okay. 1 is the source. And we're going to copy it to profiles 2, 3, 4, and 5. That way all of that data, your call signs, frequencies, Wi-Fi configuration, etc., will all be copied onto the other profiles. So all we have to do is leave the source at 1 and change the destination to 2, hit copy, 3, hit copy, 4, hit copy, 5, hit copy, and you're good to go. So I will get that done. There's 2. I'll do 3. I hit copy. And then I will hit 4. Copy. And finally number 5. And copy. Okay, so it is good to go. All 5 profiles now have data in them. Now up here in profile names, just above that, you can actually name them. You can name them whatever you want. I recommend naming them something that you'll remember what you're going to use each profile for. So I'm going to name the first one DMR Brandmeister. I'm going to name the second profile DMR TGIF. I'm going to name the third one D-Star. I'm going to name the fourth one, let me think here. I will name it DMR 2YSF. So I've got Brandmeister, TGIF, D-Star, DMR to YSF. Oops, I forgot the R on Brandmeister. There we go. And number 5, I'm going to name DMR 2 FCS, for FCS reflectors on fusion. And now that I've named them what I want to, I guess I ran out of room for Brandmeister. It doesn't hold that extra letter, but that's okay. I know what it is. I hit save. Now I've saved their names. Now you can switch to them. I'm already in one and I'm already connected to Brandmeister, so I'm good. If I want to switch to number 2, I can do it one of 2 ways. I can change the active profile to 2 here on the menu, or since I'm already in the DMR mode, I can hit group call. Having a hard time doing this. All right, press and hold 0 to manual dial, private dial 9002. That will switch me to profile 2 with a quick push to talk. So I just hit the push to talk, and it's switched to profile 2. Now I'm not hearing it because I didn't set profile 2 up correctly yet. Now we can look and see which profile we're in. I'll refresh the browser to confirm that we're in profile 2. We are now in profile 2, which I named DMR TGIF. Now I need to set it up for DMR TGIF. So to do that, I go to, well, probably the best way to do it, or easiest way, is to hit the Quick Start menu, or QS, Quick Setup. This is going to be a DMR mode from a DMR radio, so I'm going to hit DMR for radio. And instead of connecting to Brandmeister, I'm going to go to the DMR Plus. And I'm going to look for the server known as TGIF, which is way down the list here. There it is. So I'm going to load TGIF in there. And then I'm going to hit connect.
Connected to MMTPM server.
And I'm going to make this the default server for profile 2, so I'm going to hit the change.
Openspot connected to MMTPM server.
Okay, so profile 2, I'm already set up to start out with DMR radio connected to TGIF. Now I'll go back to profile. Whoops, that would be the settings, I'm sorry. So now I'm going to go to profile 3, which is D-star. So I'm going to change to profile 3.
Openspot profile 3 ready.
Okay. And I'm going to set it up for D-star.
Openspot connected to Brandmeister.
Now it's connecting to Brandmeister, but we're going to fix that. I've got my D-star radio here on the same frequency. Now that the page comes back, I'm going to go back to the quick setup menu. Radio this time will be D-star. And the network we're going to...
52601 disconnected.
All right, let me turn that off. Okay, now I'm going to use it so it'll start off on REF XRF. And let me load up a reflector. I'll type in 030. That'll narrow the searches down. There's REF 30, module C. I'll hit connect. And it should announce in the D-star radio.
F030 Charlie.
Okay, so now the Openspot is connected to D-star on 30 Charlie. That is in profile 3. So let me go back to the settings.
F030 Charlie.
We're in profile 3. I'm going to go to profile 4, which is DMR to YSF. So I'm going to hit change. Hit OK.
Openspot connected to Brandmeister 3102.
Now it's connecting to Brandmeister, but I will fix that. Again, you have to configure each profile to start off a certain way. So I'm going to go to Quick Start again. This is with a DMR radio because it's a DMR to YSF. Okay, I then want to find the connector, YSF reflector. Connect there. And let me find Ohio. OHIO. I'm doing a search. And I'm going to go to Ohio link 40557. That'll be my default. Now I can hit connect.
Openspot connected to YSF reflector 40557.
There you go. I'm in YSF reflector 40557. And finally, we'll go back to the settings page and set up profile 5. Profile 5 is going to be DMR to FCS. So now I need to switch to profile 5, which I can change right here. DMR to FCS. Hit change. Hit OK.
Openspot profile 5 ready.
Wait for it to reboot and reconnect.
Openspot connected to Brandmeister 3102.
Okay, again it connected to Brandmeister, but we'll fix that. Wait for the page to reconnect. Here it comes. We go down to the quick setup. This is again with a DMR radio. And this time I'm going to look for the FCS reflector, which is right there. And as a default, I will set up, I'll look for Ohio. There we go. FCS 2 room 35, Ohio. I hit connect. Wait for it to connect. Still hasn't connected. Something's going on here. Maybe the FCS offline. Try something here and see what's going on. Hotspot seems to be hung up for a moment. This happens sometimes.
Openspot
There we go.
trying to connect the server.
Okay, apparently something is wrong with that reflector and it's not connecting. So we will go back to quick setup again. We'll go to a DMR radio. Let me try another FCS reflector. Let me see if I can connect to
Openspot
YouTube.
trying to connect the server.
There's a YouTube. Sometimes the interface doesn't cooperate. I need to erase that. Come on. There we go. YOU. YouTubers 348. Let's see if that one's working. I want one of them to work. It doesn't matter which one, as long as I can connect.
Openspot connected to XCS 3 room 48.
There we go. So now I have DMR to FCS set up. Now, the cool thing is 4 of my modes I'm using the DMR radio. And I'm still preferring to use the D-Star radio for the D-Star network. I can use the Anytone for all of these, or I could set them all up for the D-Star radio. It's really up to you. You can tailor it however you want. Okay, but here's a really cool thing from the DMR radio. It's really easy to switch profiles. If I want to go to profile 3 for D-Star, all I have to do, press and hold the 0, private call 9003, a quick push to talk, release, and it should switch me to D-Star.
Openspot profile 3 ready. Openspot connected to REF 030 Charlie.
Okay, so it's ready for D-Star. Now if I want to leave D-Star and go to one of the other modes, you can switch modes from the D-Star radio by going into the To Select, go down into Direct Input UR. You can save these commands in the your call sign. Erase what's in there, go all the way to the right, 8th character, you use the number of the profile you want to switch to. So let's say I want to switch to profile 1. 1 is in the 8th character. I hit the enter key twice, and my command is 7 spaces and a 1 in the to field. I just do a quick push to talk from the D-Star radio and it will switch to profile 1. Press to talk, release.
Openspot, profile 1, ready.
Profile 1 is a DMR mode. It'll be ready to connect in a second.
Openspot, connected to Brandmeister 3102.
There you go, I'm connected to Brandmeister. If I want to go to YSF again, that was profile 4. DMR to YSF. 9004. Push to talk, release, private call.
Openspot, profile 4, ready. Openspot, connected to YSF, reflector 40557.
There you go. Well, hopefully that has shown you some of the advantages of using the Openspot profile. You can now switch profiles from your D-Star radio. You can switch profiles from your DMR radio with radio commands. You can tailor your profiles to start up however you want, cross-moded or straight-moded, whatever you want to call it. Again, there's a lot of possible combinations there. Plus the Wi-Fi setup is very nice too, where you can move your home Wi-Fi to number 2, mobile to 1. It connects to home right away. You can connect to your car even if you're in home range and not have a drop off when you drive away. So I hope those are some tips that might help you in operating the Openspot 3. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at CQ2, that's CQ followed by the number 2, meters, CQ2 meters at yahoo.com. 73s from K9WLW.